Greetings from the workshop. As they say, the devil is in the detail. And what on earth are these details? Well, in front of you, you've got a left and right rider's foot peg. Original springs, original pin, original foot peg mount. Obviously, these have been stripped and painted. One of the things that I really like to do, and the reason for this portion of this video, before I give you the update about the bike as a whole, is if something is in perfectly serviceable condition, as in basically brand new, just a bit dirty, I'm a big fan of getting the OE parts refurbished and getting them back on the original OE equipment. So in this case, you can see foot pegs look brand spanking new. No dirt. I mean, this is obviously I've given them a light clean, but these are, I haven't done anything special to them. There's no lanolin on them or anything like that. So there's absolutely no reason why they can't be reused, and particularly because we've taken the original set of foot pegs off the bike. So we know that this is what that bike came from Honda equipped with, which makes me very, very happy. So that's the sort of devil in the detail. Like I say, 1 foot peg probably makes more sense up like that with the rubber in the back. So let me give you a quick walk around on the Honda CB750 because these pegs will be going on there. As you know, we've had this engine completely assembled thanks to our friends at BC Performance. It's a stock 1972 Honda CB750 K2 engine. It's brand new. We've just got it sitting on blocks. It's been at the workshop now for about, probably 4 weeks or something, while we're waiting on things like dress up screw kits and stuff like that, just to make the thing look really nice. It's ready to go. It's been completely overhauled, basically ready to drop in the frame. What hasn't been ready is me to drop it in the frame until now. So this is essentially what I've been doing on this Honda. Use the floor filing system for a lot of reasons, but indicators, so all the original indicator buckets, as you know, were sent out, re-chromed. We use the original inners, so all the wiring is correct. Check the bulbs, obviously, check continuity, make sure everything works. Original wiring loom, original headlight bucket, and as you can see, I've mocked up into place for the first time, really, that's visible. The wiring harness is now in. We're still waiting for a few parts on these, mostly small things like rubbers, mounting rubbers for the oil box that sits here, or the oil tank, I guess, that thing right there. Just small things. But one of the things I like to do is to find original mounting hardware. So these, it's going to be hard to see on camera. There's a stamp on the front of those bolts right there. Let's see if I can focus. Yeah, that's probably as good as it's going to get. That stamp is, let's see if I can do that. There we go. That stamp is the original Honda stamp, and you can see it's correct for the brake splitter. You can also see it's correct for the other bolt here. So placeholder bolts here. Original spacers, so these original Honda parts. Original Honda bolts for the top clamp, which the idiot lights go through. We're missing the plastic cover that sits over there. Like I say, we're just waiting on bits and pieces to show up. We've taken the chain tensioners apart, lubricated, cleaned, fixed, etc., etc., etc. We've got all of the fork rebuild kit, so the trim rings, the boots, the seals, everything else. They're ready to go. We're just literally waiting on the fork stanchions to arrive from, or the fork tubes rather, to arrive from A1 hard chroming. So we're sort of at the turning point, if you will, for this particular bike. I'll just show you up front here as well. What's glaringly obvious is these two holes. They're up with Lionel Otto instruments. So we had a slight mishap, and had the set of gauges that came with this bike were for the later model K3 to K6. So I was able, very fortunately, to source a correct set of what they refer to as the unicorn gauges, because this piece right here kind of looks like a unicorn. I didn't make it up, but that's just what they call them. So the unicorn gauges are off with Lionel Otto being refurbished, and our good friend refurbished the top tree, which had broken. So one trick for new players is that spacer must be installed before you start cranking down that bolt. Otherwise this goes choing and snaps off. Not a very fun experience. So that has been repaired. Actually, structurally, the weld is a lot better than the original casting. Just saying. So as soon as the gauges come back from Lionel Otto, I think they're going to be in this week. I think also the fork tubes will be in this week, which means I can put the front end of the bike basically together. We're going to be hopefully loading the engine into the frame. I've got it set up on a lift, it's strapped down, the frame's protected, etc., etc., etc. We should be able to load all of that in tomorrow. Once the engine is in the frame, obviously it becomes much, much easier to work on it. Once I have wheels, it becomes much, much easier to roll it around. But getting the engine in the frame is a big milestone, so really looking forward to that. And then also in the background, what I've been doing is refurbishing all the brake equipment. So that's the rear brake lever, that's the torsion bar on the back, that's the gear shift, foot peg underneath has all been re-chromed. All of this has been put back together and is ready to go. We've even got the pillion pegs in the back. As I mentioned in a previous video, a complete reproduction exhaust system, so the 4x4s. And we were waiting, hoping to get the wheels done, but Road and Race up in Berkeley Vale has just moved shop. So congratulations to Phil and the team up at Road and Race. They're moving into a brand new premises. I can't remember the name of the suburb, but it's only 15 minutes away from Berkeley Vale. So extremely excited that they're going to be putting those all together. We have all the pieces for the wheels there. So hub, etc., right there. Spokes are sitting on the floor right there. Trim rings, mounting hardware, etc., The other thing I've been doing is the other ancillaries that can be worked on without the engine being in the frame. Things like the Kickstarter, so that's been disassembled, sent out to be re-chromed, has a new OEM Honda rubber on top. All of these are the original parts. We're waiting for the C-clip and the spring. There's just a placeholder, it's just a spring washer at the moment, but that's incorrect. So we're waiting for those parts to show up and that will be done. Similarly here we've got an original Honda master cylinder rebuild kit for the front. We have a new bleeder, not OE, but still very good quality from our friends at PMC. Same thing with the brake lines as well. You never really want to reuse lines that are this old. Reproduction lines are built to very, very good quality. They're pressure tested. The bent line that hits the top of the caliper, that one right there is a really nice reproduction part as well. So very, very excited to be getting all of this stuff on very soon. The caliper holder, so this bit bolts onto the stanchion, that's your adjuster screw, and the actual caliper mounts right there. All of that was sent out to be vapor blasted by our good friend Doug at OCD Vapor Blasting, and then we'll be polishing up an original brake lever. So that's just a bit of oxidization. This is an alloy lever. We have a replacement chromed bolt. That's just a placeholder to make sure it's the right part. But again, reusing the original levers, fitting obviously new rubbers. In this case, we may not even need to, but in doing all of that gives it really nice originality. We were able to source a reproduction version of the brake lid for the master cylinder, sort of sits on top like that. And of course, we've had the carbs ready to go for some time now. And we have all new mounting hardware in the box there. So carb boots, actually they're on that side, intake boots and all the rest of it. And all of that will combine with the rest of the brake parts and the fork stanchions all ready to go. Rear tail light ready to go. All of that will combine with this chap over here. That's the refurbished original airbox. And that's come up looking really lovely. So we'll give that another heat treatment. It's had a good wash. In fact, it's had 2 really good washes. We'll give that another heat treatment and we'll get that with some nice black give the mounting hardware a bit of a polish underneath, and should be ready to go back on the bike. So really exciting times. It's very, very close to having the CB750 completed. As I say, just a few bits and bobs waiting to come back from various suppliers. And then that and that will be reunited for the first time in goodness knows how long, a very, very long time, I would hasten to add. And I can't tell you how excited I am at the prospect of A, getting some floor space back in the shop, but B, getting that bike delivered to the new owner. I think he's going to be thrilled. Anyway, lots more to come. God, we've got so many projects. That's the refurbished seat for the Honda, by the way, an original seat. So we've got so many more projects in the works. Obviously, we've got all the Z650s here, so all these guys, a ton of updates on that. We've got some updates on the Z1100, the GPZ 1100, the 77 Z650 B1. That is nearly done now, finally. We're waiting for bracketry. Some updates on all the police bikes here. An update on the 2006 BMW R1200 RT. More progress on this from the video yesterday, but we'll do a separate video on that one. And this one fired up today, so I've got a separate video coming on that. Anyway, lots and lots going on. Hope you've had a wonderful weekend, and I'll catch you in the next video.